Welcome back. All right, so we're going to talk about the Montreal-Toronto game. I am wearing a Marlies jersey because by the time camp is over and the preseason's over, it's going to be a Marlies defense for Toronto, I do believe. So they had a Summit Series tribute before the game, this being the 50th anniversary of the 1972 Summit Series between the Soviet Union and Canada. And they had a lot of the players there and relatives of players as well. And I mean, it was nice. They had the warm-up jerseys were 1972 themed. I did notice an Adidas logo on them, so I assume they're for sale somewhere. But at any rate, it was kind of a nice tribute before the game. So, fun. And then it was Montembeault versus Murray. So, first chance for Leaf fans to get a look at Matt Murray. And I don't know that anything gets learned tonight, but he did have a good game. So, Pitlick has a net feed that's defended. Wideman fires wide as we saw Montreal come out with the jump in this. Jack-Eye then, there's some hype for him. He may very well make the roster for Montreal. We'll see whether or not he makes it. Now, last year it was Zerkai. Now it's Jack-Eye, so okay. But either way, however it's pronounced, I thought he had a decent game, but we'll see whether or not that translates into a roster spot this year. Clifford then had a rush chance that was defended. Kerfoot has a shot to deflect out. His next one deflects out as well. Heineman then had a rush chance that was saved, and then Robertson opens the scoring for Toronto from Giordano and Murray at 6:53. So if you're looking for a Toronto Maple Leaf that could really benefit from some guys being injured here and there, it could end up being Robertson that gets into a more key role than might have been expected. So he scored from the wing on a rush. It was a good goal. Robertson, though, did then commit a giveaway on the next play, which could have led to a tie if Montreal's a little bit luckier around the net. So Wideman then fires one wide as the Habs press back, trying to tie it. Then we get a power play for the Leafs, though. Nylander has a shot that's blocked. The Leafs cycle it. Malgin's on the first unit as Malgin had a lot of opportunities tonight. I thought he played quite well. Yarncroke fires one high, and then Jordy Ben, the first of the injuries, he exits. He did not return to the game, and it was known right away he wasn't coming back. Holmberg then had a rush chance that was saved. The Leafs go back to the power play. Robertson fires one high. Steeves hits the post. Malgin has a shot that's saved. The Habs clear it out. That power play's killed off. Had two shots. They had one shot on their first power play. Habs press after it ends. Pitlick then had a net drive that was defended. Harris then has a shot that's held by Murray. Malgin's net feed won't go. And this is where they notice Dahlstrom also not on the Toronto Maple Leafs bench. Not great news. Dahlstrom, one of those guys who might have made the team, and here we are. So they're down to four defensemen. So to start out the second period, Yarncroke's been moved back to the blue line. Kerfoot ends up playing on the blue line as well. You wouldn't have really known that they weren't defensemen by the way the rest of this game goes. Also worthy of note, though, neither team had their A lineup or anything, so I'm not saying that Yarncroke and Kerfoot against A level, opposition would have had a great game, but I thought they acquitted themselves pretty well. Evans has a rush chance to deflect out. Yarncroke then had a net drive that was held, and part of being a defenseman is knowing when to pinch. Both Yarncroke and Kerfoot seem to be able to do that. Habs press at 4.5 minutes. Riley has a blasted save. The Habs clear it out. Armia can't bury one on the backhand. Messar was then denied. Murray holds on there. If you're wondering if Philip Messar is going to make the team, I didn't see anything from him tonight to say yes. It's much like with Slavkovsky. There was a comment I saw from somebody in response to something I posted on Twitter saying he looked terrible. He's a teenager. I know he's the number one draft pick. I know there's a lot of hype, but he's still a teenager. So if he doesn't make the team, it does not make him a bust. So Kerfoot has a shot held as the Leafs press. The Habs, though, they get a power play. Giordano clears it out early. The Leafs then clear it again before Montreal can set up. Heineman then had a shot that deflects out. Halfway through this game, the shots are 15-15. So evenly played game, but Toronto with the 1-0 lead. Montembeault then goes out on the next whistle. Kevin Poulin goes in. I had no idea Kevin Poulin was in the Montreal camp. And here we are. And I thought, wow, I'd love to see him, get a shot at AHL time for them, right? So that happens. Malgin has a rush chance that's held. Robertson has one held as well. Poulin looked solid to that point. And again, looking for a job, right? The Habs, though, they go to the power play. The Leafs, again, don't let them set up. Heineman has a shot that deflects onto the net. And it's an Evans deflection onto the net for him. Power play's killed off. That was the only shot that Montreal managed during that power play. Then the Leafs, with 1:33 left, they go to the power play. Yarncroke centers the first unit. So he's playing on the blue line. He's playing center. Can play on the wing. And again, Yarncroke and yes, Kerfoot showing their versatility tonight. And this is huge for a Leafs team that's dealing with some injury issues. So Malgin ends up scoring on that power play from Kerfoot and Steves at 19:15. I believe that's the second unit that was out there for that. So yeah, Malgin getting opportunities, and he puts the puck in the net to make it 2-0. And it was a one-timer as well, so it was a nice goal. Habs try to answer, but they run out of time. So they had a little bit of zone time there at the end. Didn't have enough to put the puck on the net and get a goal. So we go to the third period. Shalgren's in the net, so Murray's night is done. He had a decent night. Kerfoot, this is where I put up here. Kerfoot's playing defense too, just to make sure I didn't forget to mention it. Evans with a rush chance that saved the Leafs press at 3.5 minutes. Strong play by Kerfoot on the blue line. And again, I understand that Montreal didn't have all their best players in. I'm wearing a Marlies jersey to acknowledge this wasn't the A team for either team. Although the Leafs did dress veteran defensemen with the idea of, letting Murray figure out how his defensemen think and work and everything and get that worked out in the preseason. 2 of them get hurt. So Heineman's denied from the slot. I thought he had a good game. We'll see whether or not he breaks camp with Montreal. I heard the question of whether or not he should play in Laval in the AHL, or if he should be, sent back to Europe if he doesn't make the team. My vote would be Laval, because I think Heineman has looked good enough that if he doesn't make the team, he should be one of the early call-ups for them, if that is in fact the case. The Habs press, Clifford clears it out. Armia can't bury one on a rush. Heineman has a rush chance, that's saved. Jack-Eye then fires one wide. Messar has a shot that's blocked on a turnover. Yarncroke and Kerfoot, still, a lot of the storyline in this game is, hey, check these guys out on the blue line. They're playing pretty well. So McMahon, I should say, with the centering feed that's blocked. Easy for me to say McCann, because the only difference between Jared McCann's last name and McMahon's is the C is an M instead. So there you go. To me, McMahon is McMahon. McMahon with the double N. If he makes the team, I will adjust. I promise. I will get that. You will not hear that error a lot. Leafs then had a 2-on-1 that's broken up. Barron fires one wide as the Habs press. McMahon's then denied. Poole and holds. McMahon, who had, I believe, his 24 goals for the Marlies last year, looking to push towards a job. And I think there's a lot of forwards in the Leafs organization. He doesn't require waivers to go down. That's going to be a factor in who does or doesn't make the team for them. So 6:30 left. The Habs go to the power play. Armia has a net feed that won't go. Pitlick fans on one. Slavkovsky then had a shot saved. Slavkovsky in the third I thought was better than he was in the first and second, but again, he's a teenager. Pitlick has a shot that's blocked. Brody clears it out as the time's counting down. The power play's killed off. 2 shots managed by Montreal on that one. Evans has a shot that's blocked, and then the Leafs, with 3:49 left, they go to the power play. And they do score on it. It's Abruzzese that scores the goal at 16:34 from Nylander and Malgin. So Malgin with a goal and an assist. And honestly, really strong game for him. If he doesn't make the team, I don't even know what we're doing having a preseason. So that one's buried from the side of the net. Abruzzese getting to that rebound and putting it in. Nice play by him. The Habs, though, they press for an answer. Strong forecheck by McMahon at the other end of the ice. Habs press with 1 minute and 20 seconds left, and a nice exit by Yarncroke. So you get into zone entries and zone exits. Nice zone exit by Yarncroke there in the final 30 seconds, and Toronto holds on, wins this one in a shutout, 3-0. So the shutout is shared between Murray and Shalgren. Murray saves 16 out of 16. Shalgren saves 11 out of 11. Montembeault saves 14 out of 15 at one end of the ice. Poulin saves 12 out of 14 at the other end of the ice. So entertaining game. Not, fantastically entertaining, but it's preseason. So when we say entertaining game, we can just throw the quotes around it and say for a preseason game, it was entertaining, right? So that works. But yeah, the Leafs overcame losing 2 of their defensemen. And so we'll see tomorrow, likely status updates on them, how long they're going to be out. And hopefully for Toronto, they get the whole Sandin thing figured out quickly here. And I got a kick out of Elliot Friedman saying that Sandin's asking price has to be $11 billion by now. Glad to know he's a viewer. I use that number a lot. Anyways, there you go. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below if you watched this game, who impressed you, who didn't, who makes the team, who doesn't. It's that speculative time of year and it's fun. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And hey, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm also on the TV, the end of the Chicago-Detroit game's on, so I'm not going to spoil it for anybody just in case you're waiting to watch it, but some entertaining stuff going on late in this. Thank you guys again for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.